Everyone in the city feared George Holland. He was young, powerful, a self-made billionaire who controlled entire industries. People said he had no heart, no mercy, no warmth, no soul. Those who worked for him followed his orders, but no one dared get close. Because George Holland didn't believe in kindness. He believed kindness was weakness. Until one rainy night changed everything. The rain fell heavily that evening, cold, relentless. Lily rushed down the empty street, her jacket thin and worn. She had just finished her second job at the café near the bus station. She was tired, hungry, but still thankful she had work. As she passed a dark alley, something caught her eye. A man, standing unsteadily against the wall. His expensive suit was soaked, his face pale. Blood slowly stained his sleeve. People walked past him. Some looked briefly, others turned away. No one stopped, except Lily. She hesitated, then she stepped closer. "Sir, are you all right?" she asked softly. The man lifted his head. His eyes were sharp, guarded, angry. "I don't need help," he snapped. Lily flinched, but she didn't move away. "You're hurt," she said gently. "You should let me help you." He laughed bitterly. "People don't help me for free." Lily shook her head. "I'm not asking for anything." Slowly, reluctantly, he allowed her to guide him to a bench. Her hands trembled as she tore a strip from her jacket and wrapped his bleeding arm. Carefully, patiently. George watched her in silence. No one had touched him with care in many years. When she finished, she stepped back. "I hope you'll be okay," she said quietly. "Aren't you going to ask who I am?" he asked. She smiled softly. "You're someone who needed help. That's enough for me." Then she walked away into the rain. George Holland sat there, stunned. For the first time in his life, someone expected nothing from him. The next day, Lily returned to the cafe. She hadn't slept well. She kept thinking about the injured stranger. She had no idea who he really was, until the cafe doors opened that afternoon. Luxury cars stopped outside. Men in suits entered first. Then, he walked in. George Holland, the billionaire everyone recognized. The cafe fell silent. Lily's heart dropped. It was him. Their eyes met. Recognition flashed across his face. He walked toward her slowly. "So," he said calmly, "this is where kindness comes from." "I didn't know who you were," Lily said nervously. "Of course you didn't," he replied. "If you had, you would have charged me." The words hurt more than she expected. He placed a thick envelope on the table. "Payment," he said, "for last night." Lily stared at it, then gently pushed it back. "I didn't help you for money." "Everyone wants something," George replied. She looked him straight in the eyes. "Then keep your money," she said softly. "I'd rather stay poor than lose my dignity." The entire cafe went quiet. No one had ever spoken to George Holland like that. He said nothing and walked out, but her words stayed with him. Days passed, yet Lily couldn't forget him, not because he was rich, but behind his cold eyes, she had seen pain. Meanwhile, George felt restless. Board meetings felt empty. Luxury felt meaningless. Her voice echoed in his mind. So he did something he had never done before. He returned to the cafe, alone. No guards, no expensive car, just George. When Lily saw him, she froze. "I'm not here to insult you," he said quietly. "I just want to understand you." She hesitated, then sat down. They talked, not about money, not about power. She spoke about losing her parents young, about surviving alone, about believing kindness was the only thing that kept the world human. George listened. He spoke of betrayal, of being used, of learning to build walls so no one could hurt him again. For the first time, he felt calm, and Lily saw something she hadn't seen before, a man hiding behind fear. But their worlds collided. News spread fast, a billionaire spending time with a poor cafe worker. People mocked her online. Headlines laughed at her. George's partners grew angry. "She's a distraction," they warned. Fear returned, and George did what he had always done. He pushed her away. The next time they met, his voice was cold again. "This ends," he said. "We're from different worlds." Lily's chest tightened. "Did I do something wrong?" she asked softly. He couldn't look at her. "You don't belong in my life." The words shattered her. She nodded slowly. "I understand." Then she walked away. That night, Lily cried alone in her tiny room, wondering how kindness could hurt so deeply. Days later, everything collapsed. George was betrayed. Contracts failed. Partners turned against him. Lawsuits poured in. Money couldn't fix it. For the first time in his life, George Holland was helpless. He sat alone in his massive mansion, surrounded by wealth, yet emptier than ever. That's when he realized the truth. The only person who cared for him, he had pushed away. He went searching for Lily. He found her at the bus station cafe, tired, quiet, still working. When she saw him, she turned away. "Please," he said softly, "let me speak. I trusted you," he whispered, "and you broke that." He swallowed hard. "I was afraid," he admitted, afraid of feeling something real. Slowly, the billionaire knelt before her. The cafe gasped. "I don't need my empire," he said. "I need you." Lily's hands trembled. "You hurt me," she said. "I know," he replied, "but if your kindness changed me once, maybe it can save me again." After a long silence, she helped him stand. "I forgive you," she said gently, "because hate would change who I am." Tears filled his eyes. Months later, George rebuilt his company, not with greed, but with compassion. He supported shelters, helped the forgotten, and chose kindness over pride. Beside him stood Lily, not as someone he rescued, but as the woman who rescued his heart. The billionaire who once mocked kindness now lived by it, because money can build empires, but only kindness can build a soul.
Life changed after kindness brought George and Lily together. The world now saw them as a miracle story, a billionaire and a cafe girl, love that crossed worlds. But love, when tested by reality, reveals its true strength. At first, everything felt perfect. George rebuilt his company with honesty. Employees respected him, not feared him. Lily stood beside him quietly. She never demanded luxury, never asked for titles. She still wore simple clothes, still smiled at strangers, still believed kindness mattered. That's what George loved most. But fame has a cruel side. Cameras followed them everywhere. People whispered. Some admired them, others judged. "She doesn't belong there," they said. "She's using him." Lily heard the rumors. She never repeated them, but they hurt. One evening, George invited Lily to a charity gala. The room glowed with wealth, diamonds, silk dresses, powerful people. Lily felt small. A woman approached them, elegant, confident, dangerously charming. Her name was Victoria Hale, George's former fiancée, a powerful investor, someone from his old world. She smiled politely at Lily, then turned to George. "You've changed," Victoria said, "in ways I never expected." George nodded. "I had to." Victoria's eyes lingered on Lily. "Interesting choice," she said softly. The words weren't loud, but they were sharp. That night, Lily overheard whispers. "She's not fit for him. She doesn't understand his world. She'll eventually embarrass him." Lily smiled politely, but her heart cracked quietly. Days passed. George grew busier. Meetings piled up. Pressure returned. And slowly, without meaning to, he began slipping. He canceled dinners, missed calls. Lily told herself it was temporary. Until one night, he forgot something important. Her birthday. She waited alone in her room. A small cake on the table. 2 candles. 1 wish. But the door never opened. She blew out the candles herself and cried silently. The next morning, headlines exploded. George Holland seen with former fiancé. Photos showed him and Victoria leaving a meeting late at night. It meant nothing, but it looked like everything. Lily stared at the screen. Her hands shook.
She didn't confront him. She simply grew quiet. George noticed. Too late. "Lily, talk to me," he said. "I don't want to compete with your world," she replied softly. "You're not competing," he said quickly. But she looked away. "Sometimes love isn't about fighting," she whispered. "Sometimes it's about knowing when you don't belong." Those words terrified him. Then tragedy struck. A fire broke out at the shelter Lily volunteered at. Children were trapped inside. Without hesitation, Lily ran in. Smoke filled the building. People screamed. George arrived just as firefighters pulled her out, unconscious. At the hospital, machines beeped softly. George held her hand, shaking. "I was building a better world," he whispered. But I forgot the person who taught me how. Days passed. She didn't wake up. He slept beside her bed, refused meetings, ignored money. For the first time, he understood. Love wasn't something you owned. It was something you protected. When Lily finally opened her eyes, George was there, crying. "I almost lost you," he said. She smiled weakly. "You were never meant to lose me. You were meant to choose me." He nodded. "I choose you," he said. "Every day, no matter the world." Months later, George made a public decision. He stepped down as CEO. Shockwaves followed. He handed leadership to a trusted team and walked away from power, not from responsibility, but from obsession. He chose balance. He chose love. Together, George and Lily built foundations, homes, hope, and a quiet life filled with meaning. The billionaire who once believed kindness was weakness learned something greater. Love doesn't demand perfection. It demands presence. And sometimes, the greatest wealth isn't what you earn. It's who you refuse to lose.